What's up, gem photographers? This is Justin K. Prim, and today we're going to be looking at the new iPhone 13 Pro with the new macro function for photographing gemstones. For the last 4 years, I've been using an iPhone 8 Plus as my main phone and phone camera, and before I had a dedicated DSLR, this was my main shooter for gemstones that were going to go up on Instagram. Now Apple's released the new iPhone 13 Pro with the macro function, and I wanted to put these two phones head to head and see how they compare, see if this one is much better than this one, and see how the macro function really works for gemstones. Macro gemstone photography has some special needs and isn't exactly the same as shooting something like a flower or other small objects. Gemstones need light to go inside of the stone in order to be reflected back towards the camera or the viewer, and this has always been a problem for the gemstone photographer who needs to take their phone and put it right up against the gemstone in order to get a big enough magnification. The phone literally blocks the light from going into the stone, making the stone appear dark or not the true color of the stone. So let's check out the iPhone 13 Pro with macro mode versus the iPhone 8 Plus with a 2x telephoto lens. Consider the body color of the phone that you're going to get. A white body is going to be better at reflecting light than a dark body, and a white case is good too. One of the unexpected things about this new macro mode is the fact that there isn't actually a button to turn it on. It activates intuitively as you get the phone close to objects, which sometimes causes a little bit of problem because you can't really tell the phone when you want to use the macro and when you don't, and sometimes it gets confused and starts to flicker between the lenses as you're trying to use the macro mode. The other downside of the macro mode is that because you're getting the phone so close, in order to get this amazingly close depth of field, you're blocking a lot of the light from the stone. So sometimes in the photos, the macro mode actually looks darker than my older iPhone 8 where I could just zoom in. Now this first set is being shot inside of a diffusion box that I built. So just to give a reference, this is what the mirrorless camera shoots like with the macro lens. Now, one thing that seemed very noticeable to me was the difference between the photo modes and the video mode. Now, the video mode seems to be the iPhone 13 Pro's really strong feature. I wasn't so convinced about the quality of the photos, but once I switched into video mode, everything changed. Super sharp, super clean, super vivid. You can get very, very close, making very big images, and you can even shoot photos from the video mode, which seems to be the best way to get the highest quality image out of the phone. So here you can see the difference between the focal distance of the iPhone 8 and the focal distance of the iPhone 13 Pro. Notice how much closer the new phone can get versus the old one. It can focus in almost to the point of touching the stone on the lens. Now we've been looking at a demantoid garnet. Let's check out a nice vibrant purple garnet. When I went up on the roof, things really changed. The additional amount of sunlight available that was coming in through the diffusion I have up there really started to make the images pop. The colors become a lot stronger, and the macro mode really starts to shine. It seems that the macro mode really needs a lot of light to really perform well. Now in some of these images I'm getting as close as I possibly can, and in some of them I'm just trying to make a nice composition. But in the iPhone 13 Pro with macro mode, you can basically go all the way to the gem and get a full screen image, though the color of the stone and the brightness is sacrificed by the size that you're getting on the screen. Now here I just wanted to show what the sky was looking like at this point. We're seeing late morning in Bangkok, slightly cloudy, but not too much, not too bright, no harsh lights, already slightly diffused for me. And I just wanted to compare some of the video modes between 60 frames per second, 30 frames per second, 2x zoom, 3x zoom, and just looking at the quality of the stabilization and any artifacts. Now here we're looking at a purple color change sapphire. Notice how differently the two cameras process the color. These are both sitting on a gray piece of plastic. Notice how much closer I can get to the stone on the iPhone 13 Pro. In situations where you can have adequate light, it looks to be that both cameras do a really good job at presenting the stone. iPhone 13 Pro can get closer. It definitely does need a little bit more light, and it just can't focus at those super close distances. I often go to museums and take pictures of art that has gemstones. The 3x zoom doesn't work the same way that the 2x zoom does. It seems like it's really not meant for close-up photos the way that you could with the previous phone. And I just wanted to see if the 3x zoom would work as a magnifier. Another strong use for the iPhone 13 Pro with its super crisp, super large video is going to be in-progress photos and videos and action videos, such as showing people how the stones are getting cut and then showing the stones while they're on the dop. So we've now moved under a fluorescent light, and notice how the white balance of the two cameras doesn't exactly match. The new iPhone 13 Pro takes the fluorescent light as a lot bluer than the iPhone 8 Plus, though of course this can be adjusted in editing later. Now here I'm trying to look at in-progress photos and just trying to see how close I can get them. So on the iPhone 8 Plus, I am making them as large as I possibly can, and in the iPhone 13 Pro, I can go even larger, but I'm just trying to make a nice composition, and notice that it's already even a bit bigger in the frame. So that wraps up this test. I hope this was insightful and informative to you. If you are trying to make a decision about whether or not to buy this phone, I'm happy with it so far, and I'm looking forward to learning how to get the most out of it over the upcoming weeks. But of course, if you're looking for a dedicated camera for taking gemstone photos, the iPhone 13 Pro cost about the same as my used macro lens and my original Nikon D5600 at about $1,200 or $1,300. So if you don't already need to buy a phone and you want to take better gemstone photos, it probably makes more sense to buy a camera and a macro lens, because it's just about the same price. I hope you enjoyed this comparison, and I'll see you next time on The Gem Cutter's Craft.